Okay, here we are continuing. We are on the unit of dividing polynomials, right? But we're on the part where now we're on long division. While we're looking at long division, we've already had, well, the previous assignment started with long division. That was actually part 2. So this is long division part 3. There's really not going to be much anything new here, but it's something that you really have to be aware of and pay attention about, or else things can get really messy here. Okay, so it's going to say divide. We'll just jump into the problems here. And you'll have something like this. 9x4 plus 27x3 minus 8x minus 24 divided by x plus 3. So remember, they can write the problem like this, and it'll be obvious that it's division. It'll say this polynomial divided by, and then an expression over here. Or they can also write it like this. So just remember that. They can also write it like this. Divided by, write this, divided by this. It can also look like this. So just remember that as well. They're saying the same thing. Okay, let me tell you what's new here, because this looks very similar. It is. I mean, 95% of this is just like the previous assignment. What you have to do now is pay attention to this polynomial up on the top. You got to see if there's any missing terms. Does it have any missing terms? And if it does, we're going to have to put a 0, because we're going to need that space when we do the long division. We're going to have to put a 0 for any missing terms. And by what I mean by missing terms, you got to look at the degree. Look at the degree, and it goes in descending order, right? Descending is from highest to lowest. If you notice, this is x to the power of 4, x to the power of 3, and the next one should be x to the power of 2. You guys see that it's missing a term. It doesn't have it goes from x3 to, there's no x2, and it goes to x, and then the numbers last. See, there's a missing term here. So what you're gonna have to do is, when I set this up for long division, I'm really gonna have to say that this is what? 9x4 plus 27x3 plus, there's no x squared term. You got to put a 0. We need that 0 for the x squared term. See, we need that space. Every term has to have a number, and if there's a missing term, well, the number for nothing is 0. So 9x4, 27x3, nothing for x squared, then just the x and then the number. And then this, we're going to divide it by what? Now it's okay if this one has any missing terms, and that's okay, but this one, the one that you're dividing into, that one cannot have any missing terms. Okay, so this is going to be the new thing that you're going to see. Everything else will be the same. So now when I set this up for long division, I'll use this one. And you'll see why you need this space with this missing term. You'll see that right now when we do the long division. And that part I'm going to do quicker. I don't have to show you that. We've already learned that. Okay, so long division, you look at the first one, That'll be a 9x cubed. 9x cubed times that and times that, that'll be 9x4 plus 27x3. Ooh, this one's not going to work out really nice, right? Well, we'll see what happens. Is that right? Yeah. And you subtract, changes that to from a positive to a negative. Ooh, everything just adds up to 0. I got nothing left over. And then I got no x squared. Oh, this one's kind of weird. Usually there is something left over here, but oh well. Then I got no x squared term. So yeah, this one doesn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. Usually you'd have something here that's left over. Okay, well, I'll just finish this one. Since there's nothing here to drop, or it's like it doesn't have an x squared, then you just go to the next one, and the only one that drops is negative 8x. Alright, so we start the division process again. And now, remember, you look at the first one, you look at the first one here. So that'll be what? Negative 8. I'll put it over here. And that'll be what? Negative 8x. This times this times this. And then, oh, you know, we're going to have to drop both of these. Drop both of them. And that'll be what? Minus 24. This times this, but then when you subtract, it changes the sign to a plus, and actually this divides evenly. See, I got a remainder 0. Remember, the remainder is very critical. We're going to be talking about that later, but 0 is good when we get a remainder 0. What does that mean? That this times this gives me exactly this. So anyways, the answer, your answer is just the quotient there. That's it for that one. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Oh, let me do another one that is going to work out the way I want it to. Okay, number 2. Let's go with x4 minus 10x squared minus 2x plus 4. That divided by what? Oh, x plus 3 again? No, let's try that again. Let's see if this works better. Alright, so we look here and we see if there's a missing term. There's a missing term. Which term is missing? x4. There's no x cubed term. Then it's x to the power of 2, then it's x, or x to the power of 1, and that's a number. So we're missing a term. Missing the x cubed. We're missing the x cubed term. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 when I set this up for long division. Right, when I set this up for long division, I'm going to put x4, and see, it doesn't have an x cubed term, so I have to put what? Plus 0x cubed. It doesn't have it. We need that space there. Minus 10x squared minus 2x plus 4. For any, it might be missing more than one term. So for every problem like that, or for any term that's missing, you got to put a 0. Okay. All right, and again, like I said, the long division is the same. So look at the first one. Look at the first one. That's x cubed. Right? The 3 steps of division. Divide, multiply, subtract. So we divide and now we multiply. x3 times both of these is x4. And see, this is why you need this here, because see, now it's plus what? Plus 3x cubed. If you didn't have the 0 here, you would be writing this under this one. You don't want to write this that has a x cubed, mixing it up with a different term that's x squared. See, you wouldn't have that space for it. So that's why we need every term present. And if there's a missing term, that's why we got to need that little space. We put a 0. So that's the reason. If this 0 wasn't here, where would you write this? You'd have to write it like under this. And those don't combine. They're not going to add together. So anyways, And then you're going to continue. So subtract changes the sign, and see now this is going to work here the way I wanted it to. And then the long division continues, right? You'll just continue it. But that's the point. The point is you need that for that space like that. And the rest, all the terms are there. It'll work out. It'll work out fine. So I probably won't finish this one. I want to set up another one. And then you'd continue, right? How do you start again? Well, look at the first one. Look at the first one. And that's like negative 3x squared. Right? Because this times this gives me this, right? That's the divide. Now multiply this times these two as negative 3x3 minus 9x squared. Right? And then what's next? Subtract. Subtract, they'll change the sign. So that changes to a plus. That changes to a plus also. And you're left with what? Negative 10 plus 9. Negative 1x squared. Drop the next one. Okay. So you can finish the division. The long division is the same. The only thing new is you got to look at this, the dividend here. The one you're dividing into this one, and make sure it doesn't have any missing terms. All right, let's look at another one. All right, so let's go with number 3. How about 24b4 plus 24b3 minus 48b minus 58 divided by 6b plus 6. Well, again, before you start, make sure that all the terms are present. Not all the terms are present. We're missing which term? 4. B3, we're missing a B2. We don't have a B2 term. We got to put 0 for B2. We have B4, B3. There's the 0, B2. Here's B1 or just B in the number. So when you set up your division, we got to put that 0 there. 24B4 plus 24B3. And here's your plus 0B squared. Minus 48b minus 58 divided by what? 6b plus 6. All right, let me do this one. Just about till I get to that point. All right, so how do we do long division? Well, again, you look at the first one and you look at the first one. And what do I need to divide? So that this times this gives me exactly that 24b4. That'll be 4. 6 times 4, 24. And b what? 3, right? Okay, that's the division part. Now you do multiply to both. That'll be 24b4. And then now times this one will be another 24 what? And again, since all the terms are in descending order, this should land. And also these terms C should match like that, see? B4 is under B4, B3 is under B3. Is that right? Yep. Then you subtract. Subtract, and that changes the sign from a positive to a negative. That changes from a positive to a negative. Oh, these canceled out again. And then I'm left with that 0. I don't drop that 0b squared. So you just drop the next real term here. So it's actually, it'll drop everything. Negative 48b minus 58. So you just jump all the way over here. Again, the same thing's happening what happened with the first one, but oh well, that's probably what you're gonna see. All right, so now we skip over to over here. How do we start? Look at the first one, look at the first one. 6b into negative 48b is going to be negative 8. Now we multiply this times this times this. That'll be negative 48b minus 48. Change the sign, subtract. And that'll be plus. That'll be a plus. And you're left with 10. Up, negative 10. Okay. Now here's something that's going to be new. Your answer. Now we got a remainder, right? We got a remainder. Here's something new. Your answer, how do you write it? Well, here's something new. You're going to write 4b cubed minus 8. And then, well, you can put plus this negative 10 over, right? The divisor. But that's not what you're going to see in the, that's not what you'll see in the answer sheet there. The reason is this. We can reduce all of these. There's a common factor for all of these. If you look at these are all even numbers. If you look at these numbers, they're all even. We can reduce all of them by 2. So I won't really mark that wrong if it was the test, but if you see it and you catch it, I'll give you extra credit. Again, they'll move, these will be minus, I'll put a minus there, and it'll be 5 over 3b plus 3. That's how the answer is going to be. Okay, one more. This one's going to have 2 missing terms, so this is why I really wanted to get to this last one. So that makes this one number 4. All right, here we go. So 3 and 5 minus 4 and 4 plus 27n minus 26. What? That's what it looks like, divided by 3n minus 4. All right, this one's missing two terms. I got to the n5, I got n4. Where's n3? There's no n3 term, and there's no what? Either no n squared. See, it's missing 2. It's missing 2 terms in the middle there. Sometimes they're in the middle, sometimes one's here and one's out there, but these happen to be right there. There's a gap. n5 and 4, 0 and 3, 0 and 2. Here's n to the 1, or just n in the number. All right, so let's set this up. 3 and 4 is what your divisor is. This is your dividend, so that's going to be what? 3 and 5 minus 4 and 4. Got that one, got that one. And then see, I got to put these for the 0 and 3 and for the 0 and squared plus 27n minus 26. All right. Let's start the division. Look at the first one, look at the first one. I don't need a 3, I just need n4. This times this is 3 and 5. This times this is negative 4 and 4. Oh, perfect. Oh, I don't like how these are canceling out like that. Ugh. When you subtract, that turns into a negative, that turns into a positive. 3 take away 3, 0. Negative 4 and a positive 4, 0. These are zeros. So all this goes away. I'm done here. I'm done here. There's nothing to drop here. There's nothing to drop here. So you pretty much skip all this. So that means you're pretty much going to end up just dropping both of these. All right, I guess just continue here. All right, there was nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. So it just jumps over to here. Okay, well then just go from here to here. The first one into the first one will be just a what, 9? And then repeat the process. Multiply to both. Subtract, change the sign, change the sign. You'll be left with, was that a 10? Yeah, 10, positive 10. All right, so we're done. We have a remainder. And now the question is, how do you write the answer? Well, it's this. It's the n4 plus 9. And then remember, when you have a remainder, you put the remainder over the divisor. And then these can't reduce. If there's only 2 of them that can reduce, you don't do anything. It has to be all 3 coefficients or nothing. All right. There it is. Good luck.